Greetings and salutations, my name is Deltran. We're doing some Fire Emblem Heroes art in the Zen of hero building from Michalis. We're going to go ahead and go through some builds that are going to be budget builds that will go ahead and get you started with him quickly, that don't really modify him too much. We'll talk about how to actually use him as he comes out of the box. If you're looking more for PvP oriented builds or for defensive or enemy phase oriented builds, I got a couple of links for you in a moment. But first, I want to let you know that if you like anything in this video, you should give it a thumbs up. I'd like validation. And if you want to get building tips quicker and faster, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll make sure I get those to you. So his default build, he only wins against 13 people initiating. He loses against 13 people whenever he decides to go initiate on them. But he has 114 draws. And that's really due to his 5-star version having a 35 defense. Now, that's not that special. There's already another flyer, Baruka, who will usually have on average a 47 defense. 37 defense. But so what else does he got going on here? Well, he has Claire, his legendary weapon. It acts as a killer axe, basically. But Minerva already has Claire as well, so that's also not special. Let's take a look. He has Blazing Thunder, which a lot of people give a lot of flack to. He has Iot Shield. This is unique to him. This prevents him from being affected by the archer's effective against flyers ability. As a matter of fact, anything that ever says effective against that is effective against Michalis won't work while he has Iot Shield on. This is the biggest reason why he has so many draws between that and also with his high defense. He also has threatened defense because that's actually a really good skill to have. So I like to look at this, and I'm looking over this record, and it doesn't seem too impressive. Let's see what happens whenever we charge up Blazing Thunder. We get 110 wins, 4 losses, which is to Ike, Roy, Corin, Pala, and 26 draws. All the other people who resist us are listed right there. This is really powerful. This is one of the reasons why this skill takes so long to charge up. Basically, Blazing Thunder is going to go ahead and deal area damage, straight line up and down of 5. That is 1.5 times your attack minus your opponent's better defense, between defense and resistance. And it'll do true damage, in other words, damage before combat starts to them, and then he initiates. So between that, his already high defense is protecting him. His high attack, which is around 50 whenever it's all said and done, he's wonderful. This is great. So how do you use this? Because that has a 5-turn cooldown. Well, he has Claire for 5 stars, so now it's a 4-turn cooldown. And only about 50,000 people, as of recording this, have the Quick Impulse seal to make it a 3-turn cooldown. So what do you do? Well, the idea is you want to definitely maximize this. You want to use your flying meat wall to block as many advantageous blocks as you can. You're going to be flying around and make sure you're protecting your dancers and singers. You're going to be protecting your healers. You're going to be protecting your squishy mages. Have a squishy mage right behind him, as a matter of fact. Go ahead and, do that. Have a Lind or somebody right behind Michalis and just nuke the things that would hurt him, and he'll go ahead and block everything and just slowly whittle away. He's not going to be taking a lot of damage. He has all the time in the world. He could just take beatings to the face, and he will be okay. And some of the Infernal and some of the later tiers of Lunatic in different events and stuff like that, he's going to have a problem. But he could still take a really good hit. He's really great for PvE, and he can be manageable in PvP as long as you remember that his main role is to defend and to protect people, not to go chasing after someone. So that's how you use him. He's missing a B slot skill, and he's also missing an assist. The assist, any flyer, I always recommend reposition. Now, reposition is, I'm sort of a fanboy. I love reposition. I have it on everybody. I have it on my Ike, I have it on my Tharia, I have it on everybody. But reposition on a flyer is extra special because it lets you put them on top of mountain ranges and rivers so that you can transport people across. It's also really great because it of their ability to ignore the forests. They could zoom into places where other people couldn't and just bring them out or bring friendlies out so that they're out of danger, whereas you normally couldn't have. So this is a fantastic use for his assist skill, and I highly endorse it on any flyer, let alone Michalis. For his B slot skill, if you want to hurt more people, believe it or not, he's a little lacking on being able to kill blues. And I have a pet peeve where if you're a green unit, I expect you to be able to kill blues. So you could go ahead and put Lancebreaker on him. That brings his wins up to 28. He still is losing against a handful of people. But what Lancebreaker is going to end up doing here is just rounding off some things. You're still not going to kill off the heavy defended mages like Robin, and you're not going to be doing any extra against dragons because obviously they're not spear type, and anyone who's heavily defended like Effie and Gwendolyn and also Lucas. So the armor and the honorary armor, all those guys are just going to resist you pretty hard. But where my money really is for a B slot skill would actually be on Dragback. For a couple reasons. One, it gets you out of the way very quickly. You could go in, you could hurt somebody, you could come back, you're building up your charge counter, and you're getting away from all of the mages who can ruin your day. Because there's like 11 mages that can one-shot you across the colors just because they're that strong. So being able to have Dragback, getting away from the front line is fantastic. It lets you go up there, hit, come back, and Dragback pulls the enemy with you. So if you are often getting to a place where you can't actually drag the enemy with you because you're right up against water or a mountain, you might want to try hit and run. Hit and run lets you retreat while leaving the enemy there. That's up to you. Potato as far as I'm concerned. The other reason why to take Dragback, however, is because it's so much easier to get. You have Donnell with it and Gwendolyn with it. I mean, all you got to do is take 5 orbs, go to the summoning station there, and whenever you pull the lever, say, "Come on, Reinhardt," and you'll get a Donnell. That's how that happens. That's why you have 12 of them right now. Also, and you can get it from America as well, but the only way you're getting a level 3 Lancebreaker is off of a 5-star Arthur or off of a 4-star Grand Hero Battle champion. So it's hard to get a hold of. If you like the flying wall aspect, you might want to give him Renewal. It does extend his longevity, but unless you're doing something like a Tempest Trial, it's not going to sway the tide of anything. And then lastly, if you're looking around for something and you want him to be more supportive as opposed to just a flying wall, you could give him something like Seal Speed. Speed is his biggest bane that he has on him right now. So Seal Speed will definitely help protect him a bit whenever it comes back to retaliation time. It'll lop off some of the extra losses he accrues on retaliation and keep it a draw at least. So that's good going for you, but honestly, it's on the bottom of the list for a reason. Lancebreaker is going to give you more wins. Dragback is going to give you more survivability. Renew is going to give you more longevity. And Seal Speed is there if you really just don't have any other option and you want him to be more supportive. So my final thought on Michalis is he's not worth it unless you bring him to 5-star. And even then, you have to put a lot of work into him. If you have a Baruka already and you're using her, there's not a heck of a lot of reason to go towards Michalis, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I hope no one's like booing at me right now. Michalis is pretty cool. He has some very snappy thoughts. He will insult Marth sideways whenever he's standing right there in your castle. But regardless, he's not bringing anything to the table that you can already do more selectively and better with another unit. that doesn't mean that you can't inherit some great things on him. And so if you want to take a look at some of the inheritance options, go ahead and take a look at the links that we got here for the PvP and for defensive or enemy phase builds of Michalis. So, thank you so much. Remember, please give me a thumbs up if you liked this or if it gave you anything that you wanted to think about. And until next time, take it easy.